I'm Davy. I'm awesome. And welcome to Davy's Awesome Movies, where I review the styles of movies that I love, the alternative, B-rated, cult-style flicks. This week, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is like a vanity review for me. I'm gonna review it and recommend that you guys check it out, even though there's not a lot of places to do that. This is a very rare movie and very hard to find. But don't worry, baby birds, I'll feed you and tell you where to get it. This movie was made in 1988, and it was written, directed, and produced by Stanley Z. Cherry. Co-written by Deborah Zoe Dawson, Victoria Johns, and Max Schulman. Produced by Steve and Max Summers, as well as the star of the movie, Dwayne Hickman. Ladies and gentlemen, the made-for-TV movie that helped audiences catch up to the classic TV show, The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis. Bring me the head of Dobie Gillis. The movie opens with some townspeople discussing how bad things have gotten in their town. There's no jobs left because several factories and mills have been bought up and shut down. People are leaving town to go find work.
And it's gonna get worse.
Probably will. Good time.
Oh yeah. Small town on the brink of becoming a ghost town. Great times. Again, I'd live in a ghost town. That would be awesome. Just imagine, no neighbors.
I bet you I haven't had 10 people in there all week.
This is to further illustrate how bad things have gotten for this town. Basically, during the credits, it just keeps panning over to people talking more and more about how bad things have gotten, how no jobs are around, how the town's economy has just really gone down the crapper. After enough of this, so that we finally have the point...
Hi, remember me?
Yes, we remember you. You're Dobie Gillis. We remember you if we were born in the 50s and 60s, or if you were like me and stayed up watching Nick at Night when you should have been sleeping. Now, The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis is on Tubi. Dobie starts updating the audience next to his thinking statue about what's happened since the show last aired in the 1960s. He's grown up, went to pharmacy school, become a pharmacist, added a pharmacy to his father's store, Gillis Grocery, that he later took over, which is now Gillis Market and Pharmacy. He also talks about how during his teenage years he had always wanted to marry a tall, beautiful blonde woman named Thalia Manager, who in the show was played by Tuesday Weld. But he has since married a girl that was pursuing him throughout the entire show that he was not interested in, Zelda Gilroy.
Someday, you'll realize that you love me.
Someday.
Madly and passionately. Now give me a kiss.
20 years of marriage and he still doesn't know if he loves his wife? Actually, I know a lot of people like that. Zelda Gilroy is played by Sheila James Kuehl. I think that's how you say her name. And it's the same actress who played her in the television show. She returned to do this, despite the fact that under the name Sheila James, she left acting in 1975 to go to Harvard Law School, where after she would graduate, she would enter into politics, only returning to acting for certain special things, like, in her opinion, doing a Dobie Gillis made-for-TV movie, since she had fond memories of that show. She was also groundbreaking as being the first openly gay legislator in California. This was also her very last movie she ever did. Now, in the TV show, they always played up how unattractive Zelda Gilroy was, despite the fact that during the TV show, she looked like this. Very attractive girl. You know, not exactly what I would call a dog. Zelda and Dobie also have a son, Georgie.
Well, actually, Torber's my middle name. My first name is Georgie and my last name is Gillis.
Georgie is played by a very young Scott Grimes, who I'm sure you recognize. He's been in a lot of movies and TV shows, such as Mystery Alaska or The Orville. He's also done some voiceover work, mostly known as the voice of Steve Smith from American Dad. Like his father in the TV show, Georgie is obsessed with girls, except for the one that actually likes him.
Hold that pucker, Gillis, I'm coming in!
Hey, back off, Chassie.
That's the daughter of the rich kid that was in the show. The second rich kid, after Warren Beatty's character, Milton, left the show in the first season. The second rich kid that they put in the show to replace Milton was Chatsworth Osborne Jr. Her name? Chatsy. He named his daughter after himself. Then again, he was named after his mother. She's also supposed to be the unattractive girl. So apparently in the world of Dobie Gillis, you're not attractive unless you have blonde hair.
I love you, Georgie Gillis.
Not only is she attractive in my opinion, she's freaking rich. Like, the way Georgie lucked out is ridiculous. This would be like finding a pot of gold next to a genie lamp. Or having a rich unknown uncle die who left you everything and finding out he was a majority owner of McDonald's. Or Charlie getting his kidney back at Candy Mountain. Georgie goes to the family store to get some money.
Georgie, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. When I hear that bell, I'll be there.
Like father, like son. Dobie did that a lot in the show. His parents didn't come into this show because they're supposed to be dead, which in real life was actually the case. Florida Freebus, who played his mother, actually died the year this movie was made. And his father, that was played by Frank Phelan, died in 1985. So naturally, they couldn't be a part of this Dobie Gillis reunion. Which was sad. Dobie is trying to encourage his son to go after Chatsy, because not only is she rich, but she likes him, instead of trying to go after the tall, blonde Bonnie. But Georgie compares it to when Dobie was in love with Thalia. Dobie asks, how did you know about Thalia?
I've had at least 6 desks at school with Dobie loves Thalia carved and little hearts on them.
My question is, how did the school not charge your family for all those desks? Georgie mentions places all over town that have Dobie loves Thalia carved in them.
But how come there aren't any that say Dobie loves Zelda?
I bet your mother asked the same thing a time or two. Dobie excuses himself to go to a town council meeting, where he and the townspeople at the local diner discuss how badly this town is doing, to the point they're saying the town's finished. Somebody has been buying up the factories and mills only to close them. Dobie's idea is for people to reopen the factories and mills themselves and run them themselves. To get the money, they're going to have to go to Chatworth Osborne Jr.'s bank.
Surely you jest, Dobie-Doo.
Steve Franken from the TV show reprises his role as Chatsworth Osborne Jr. We're assuming his mother, Chatsworth Osborne Sr., must have died. You did hear that right, his mother.
Banking is such fun.
He does use that rich accent that he used in the TV show, but it's a lot more subtle in this movie, especially when he's talking to Dobie-Doo. Just then, Dobie finds out that the last mill in town has been bought and closed, and in a move of desperation, he's trying to stop the trucks from leaving town. Well, someone is frickin' sued. As the townspeople are freaking out over their cars, someone in a very, very fancy car starts driving by and pulls up to Gillis's Market and Pharmacy. Who, pray tell, could that be? Maynard G. Krebs, played by Bob Denver. That's right, Gilligan himself, although he was in The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis before Gilligan's Island. That was his first claim to fame. It was a supporting role, but most people tuned in for Maynard G. Krebs. That show, his character wasn't terribly different from Gilligan's Island. He was dumb and uneducated. The only difference, he was also a dirty beatnik. Dobie is excited to see his old friend, but is telling him it's a bad time because of all the places closing.
Like that's why I came back.
Could Maynard have been the one that bought all these places? Could Maynard G. Krebs, the beatnik who never changed his clothes or showered, who could not pass a single class in high school or junior college, whose work ethic was so terrible that he freaked out every time he heard the word work? The guy that said like every other word?
My lips are soiled.
Maynard, that's sealed.
Well, whatever it is, I can't tell you.
No, just keep watching. Maynard won't tell them what's going on, but tells Dobie he's gonna like it. Dobie's son Georgie is excited to finally meet the legendary Maynard G. Krebs.
What does the G stand for?
Walter.
If you haven't watched the show, that seems very weird. If you did watch the show, you're like, yeah. Now Maynard teaches us the art of the backhanded compliment.
You look exactly the same, but I'm still glad to see you.
Thing about that is, he wasn't being a jerk. He's just Maynard. Georgie takes Maynard to school where they're holding auditions for Romeo and Juliet, the musical. You bet your ass I'd watch that. And Maynard meets an old friend.
Maynard G. Krebs? Is that really you? Like higher teachership?
Mr. Promptfit, played by William Schallert, reprising his role from the show where he played the teacher that was annoyed by Maynard G. Krebs. He's most known for being the father in the Patty Duke Show. I watched a lot of Nick at Night when I should have been sleeping. This Romeo and Juliet musical being presented at the school was actually written by Mr. Promptfit himself.
The new musical version of Romeo and Juliet with a happy ending?
Oh, they put a happy ending at it? Then I'm not... Never mind. I'd still watch it. I watch a lot of crap. Maynard meets Chatsy.
I'm Chatsworth Osborne III, but you can call me Chatsy.
Your grandmother named your father after her, and then he named his daughter after himself. Is that what rich people do? Georgie needs to learn how to sing and play the guitar by the next day in order to get the part of Romeo in the play. so that he can start opposite his beautiful Bonnie as Juliet. Even though learning the guitar in one day is actually impossible, Maynard tries to help by teaching Georgie an angry protest song.
I love the you and me's great victories.
Again, if you watched the show, you get it.
Angry enough for you?
Oh yeah! For a second I thought I was listening to Rage Against the Machine. Zelda has her concerns, but according to Dobie, Maynard has changed for the better.
He dressed well, he ate with silverware, even though he did get the knife and spoon mixed up.
Progress. Now Maynard has to go pick up his employer.
Thanks for the lift, Mr. President.
Sure, why not? Let's get even more over the top. The rich woman who is getting a ride from the president on Air Force One, who at this time the president would have been Reagan, is none other than...
Hello, Dobie.
Thalia Manager. In this, she's played by Connie Stevens, as Tuesday Weld declined coming back for this movie. Maybe because she was busy making Heartbreak Hotel. Dobie and Thalia walk through the high schools, reminiscing about their high school days, and Thalia admits that she had strong feelings for Dobie. However, he was poor and not very ambitious, and she had to go marry for money. Because as she talked about a lot in the show, her father was 60 years old and had a kidney condition, and her mother wasn't getting any younger either, and her sister was married to a loafer, and she had a brother who was showing every sign of turning into a public charge. She said that a lot in the one season she was in. To buy himself time, Georgie enlists his friend Earl to get the part of Romeo, the plan being that Georgie would get the part of the understudy and Earl would break his leg on opening night, and then Georgie would come in and play Romeo and get to kiss his beloved Bonnie, because she's got blonde hair. And since Earl is going to do this, this is going to give Georgie a whole week to learn the guitar. It takes longer than that! That night, Thalia has called the entire town together. While she's telling the whole town about how she left town to go get rich, despite the fact that she really did love Dobie, she had to marry for money. She had 3 very unsatisfying marriages to 3 rich husbands, and she is now one of
The richest widows in the entire world.
See, kids? Dreams can come true. But the one thing she's never had is true love, because her one true love is there.
Him. Him? Him.
Me?
Well, this is getting spicy. Thalia is promising that she will reopen the factories and mills and give every man, woman, and child in that town $10,000, which was a lot of money in '88, under one condition.
Is divorce Zelda and marry me.
Do it, never!
So she bought up all the major businesses in the town to shut them down and make everyone destitute, just to offer them money, all in a desire to get this guy to leave his wife and kid for her. She's kind of a... bitch! Yeah, but what does Dobie say?
The answer is... has got to be no.
Of course, the whole town is upset at Dobie. I can't really side with them, though. The hell is wrong with y'all? Later, Maynard is apologizing to Dobie, as he did not know that this was her plan. But then on the TV station that they're watching that has a special announcement from their brand new owner, Thalia, she announces that she is in fact going to reopen all the businesses and now give every man, woman, and child in the town $50,000. But again, under one condition.
Something happens to Mr. Dobie Gillis.
She put a hit on him! On television! She'd be arrested on the spot! Thalia, in an effort to make people more desperate, goes to Chatsworth's bank and leverages him to recall every loan that has been taken out in the entire town. Bitch! Yeah, definitely. Taking a break from the murder hit that's been put out, we go see how the rehearsals are doing. I wouldn't care at the moment.
Slow, slow, quick, slow.
I believe that's his real singing voice about as much as I believe that he's really in high school. Of course, Georgie is concerned that Earl may be falling for his beloved Bonnie.
They make a lovely couple, don't they?
Chatsy, not so much. The townspeople reassure Dobie that they are behind him. They're not going to take care up on this offer, but he's a little reluctant to believe it. Oh, and as far as Georgie...
Remember what I said, Georgie. Only over my dead body.
If I ever tried to steal from my father, he'd... What does it matter? What am I talking about? He never had any money for me to steal. Due to the fact that Thalia is trying to have Dobie killed, Maynard quits.
Are you forgetting who rescued you off that tiny deserted island?
You knew they had to throw a Gilligan's Island reference in here somewhere. As far as Dobie's safety,
Well, we've sold out on lye, ant poison, ropes, and ice picks.
they're going into his store to buy stuff to kill him with. Move out of town! But instead, Dobie and Maynard go to make some deliveries. And while driving around, the brakes go out. Of course, him and Maynard are freaking out. At least until... Something tells me that was the most expensive scene in this movie.
Hi, Maynard.
Hi, Ward.
What's new?
Seriously? If that's not bad enough, Dobie's asking the sheriff for his help, but he's just going on and on with he's got bigger problems of people stealing hatchets and chainsaws. Move!
And stole 2 bazookas and a grenade launcher.
You're a terrible cop. Zelda goes to talk to Thalia and, in a surprising move, offers to let Thalia have Dobie.
I mean, he's dull and boring, and he's lazy, too.
But Thalia wants to know how things are in the bedroom.
Well,
Why are you two married? It's actually a ruse, though, and Thalia sees right through it.
You're just trying to make Dobie look undesirable, and thus save his life.
Okay, so how about you just call the police? Obviously not the town police, but like the state police or something. Even though a potential murder is about to happen. Let's go back to rehearsals.
She went away.
People are trying to kill your father, and this is what you're focused on? Oh, and you can't learn the guitar in a few days. Crying out loud, this isn't Saved by the Bell. Back to Dobie.
When was the last time a piano fell out of the window?
You know, growing up in the 80s and 90s, I honestly thought pianos falling on my head was something I was going to have to worry about as an adult. The town council has gotten together without Dobie, and they're talking about how they love Dobie, he's a great guy, but that money would help so many people.
His dinner.
Find somebody to do it right.
You guys suck. Now time for the play. Georgie has gotten the lead role, so he wants his dad to be there. His dad doesn't really want to be in public because people are trying to kill him.
Just because those who are cruel and unthinking have placed a price on his head.
He agrees to go with a disguise that totally hides who he is.
Hello, Dobie.
Evening, Dobie.
How did they know? Bonnie, of course, quits over the notion of having to kiss Georgie. Luckily, Chatsy is her understudy. Now you two will go off in the sunset and later make Chatsworth Osborne the Fourth. Boy or girl. After the play, Dobie goes for a walk to clear his head.
I love you, Zelda. I always have, and I always will.
He finally told her. The next morning, someone finds Dobie.
He's deader than a mackerel.
That's not a saying. But Dobie explains how that since he's a pharmacist, he knows how to create the same potion that Juliet used in the play to make herself appear dead, and he mixed up a batch for himself and an antidote that he gave to Maynard. Sure. He kind of should have expected that from Maynard. So now how is he going to be revived?
I told you, Georgie. Only over my dead body.
Really? You think your dad is dead and your first impulse is to go steal from his cash register? You're a terrible son!
Dad! I'm real glad you're not dead.
Sure you are. So now Dobie goes to confront Thalia.
Dobie, you tricked me.
Yeah, he's the jerk. Dobie tells Thalia now it's never going to happen because the real beauty is a person's character.
Even when they look like me?
Point in case. As far as the townspeople, they've had a change of heart. Because of this, Thalia finally sees the light, reopens the factories and mills, and her and Dobie just agree to go off as friends.
I didn't inconvenience anybody, did I?
Nah. So this story does have a happy ending.
I really love seeing you. I hope we can do it again sometime.
Sadly, we won't. So there you have it. That's the forgotten TV movie, Bring Me the Head of Dobie Gillis. A movie that was basically a reunion show for the many loves of Dobie Gillis. Except they didn't do reunion shows back then. It's a hard movie to find, it's very rare, and it's been so forgotten that it really doesn't even have a Wikipedia page or any kind of reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Nothing. You just basically had to be a fan of the show and somehow accidentally find out that they had made a movie of it. Like me. Before this made-for-TV movie was done, they did attempt a sequel series to The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis, entitled Whatever Happened to Dobie Gillis. That, however, the pilot was filmed and aired one night, and then they scrapped it. In recent years, Shout Factory has purchased the rights to The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis, and they currently have it on Tubi. You can watch all 4 seasons. Keep in mind, though, back then a season was 36 episodes, not 24. However, Shout Factory could not purchase this made-for-TV movie due to some musical clearances, and also could not purchase the pilot episode of Whatever Happened to Dobie Gillis because it has not been found. The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis was definitely the most successful entry of any Dobie Gillis thing, including its predecessor. Before the show, there was a movie called The Many Affairs of Dobie Gillis about Dobie Gillis being in college. Although Dwayne Hickman or any of the original cast wasn't in that, and really, it's not very canon with the TV show. Then again, if you watch the TV show, it really wasn't all that canon within and of itself. Most of this made-for-TV movie seemed to be based on the first season. Because after the first season, it kind of just went all over the place. There were episodes that really didn't seem to have anything to do with anything else in the TV show. But it was a fun TV show. Definitely recommend you check that on a Tubi. As far as this, like I said, it's a vanity project. This is very hard to find. Basically, to watch this, you can either maybe find a bootleg copy on eBay or something once in a while, or you can find somebody who uploaded it to the YouTubes or Daily Motion or one of those streaming sites. But I do recommend you go check it out. I just recommend you check out the show first because it is a fun show. It's very nostalgic. And in my case, as a kid watching it on Nick at Night or some older people watching it when they were kids, it's just very fun. And my hope is that if enough people get out there and watch these uploaded ones, or if they find out enough bootlegs are being bought, then maybe they'll come to a deal with Shout Factory and they can release a DVD of Bring Me the Head of Dobie Gillis. It's a long shot, but who knows? Could happen. So based on that, definitely highly recommend. Guys, go on the YouTubes. Check out Bring Me the Head of Dobie Gillis. It's over the top and ridiculous, but it's very fun. So there you have it. That's my movie review this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications for when I post videos, and leave a comment. If you've seen either The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis or Bring Me the Head of Dobie Gillis, tell me what you thought of them. Love you guys.